So good morning. We're going to start off the morning with a round of lightning talks. The first lightning talk will be Mirjam Kuehne from RIPE NCC, who will be giving us an update on RIPE Labs. And if John Quarterman can be on standby for the next talk, that'd be great.
Thanks. Good morning. You might remember my talk from last time when I announced the RIPE Labs, or the launch of RIPE Labs that we started in September last year. I just wanted to give you an update of that because last time we had just launched it and there wasn't so much happening yet. And so in the meantime, there's actually a lot more content, more tools, more interesting stuff happening on the RIPE Labs website. Just a quick summary of what is RIPE Labs, for those who are not aware of it. It's like a community platform that we're trying to create, where the NCC can use also to put out new ideas we have, prototypes, new tools, present it to the community and find out if it's useful, gather some feedback and find out if you want us to develop it further or not. But it's also meant for members of the community to contribute anything you might find interesting, that you might think is interesting for others to use, like any measurements you're doing, research results, tools you've been using for your operations that you want to share. We'd be happy to present or to have a link to them on the site or to describe them there. So there's the URL if you want to take a look. I just wanted to briefly give you some snapshots of what's currently on the site. Not going to go into much detail there. Actually, the resource explainer was presented and demonstrated in detail yesterday by one of my colleagues, René Wilhelms, who presented that during the tools track. Just in a quick summary, it's like a one-stop shop for anything you always wanted to know about IP addresses or AS numbers. It's linked to all the RIR allocation data, like 10 years of routing histories behind it, DNS information, reverse DNS. It's linked to some blacklists, some geolocation as well. So yeah, take a look. It's just some screenshots of various types of information that you can find. It's linked from the lab's website, but you can also get to it directly to rex.ripe.net. And yeah, please let us know what you think about this. Is this useful? Anything else you're looking for? Could we improve that? It's just a prototype at the moment. I mean, it's working and stable, but we're still kind of playing with it, so don't blame us if it maybe breaks or if something is not as pretty as it could be at the moment. A similar thing is, the RIPE NCC has been doing a lot of measurements over time, like the host count and test traffic measurements, and we put some pretty interface on that to make it easier for people to access all the data behind it. It's called NetSense. It's also explained on the RIPE Labs website what it does, and yeah, you can go to it and put your AS number in or your IP address and see what it shows. You might have seen the announcement of that on the NANOC mailing list. I announced that. We've done some measurements for, about the pollution of 1/8, just to see how much has already been used. Actually, we also used REX for that and some other measurements we've been doing internally. And there are some statistics about that on the lab's website. And a while ago, we've done, we are doing some IPv6 measurements also internally at the NCC, but we also seen, a lot of people in the community are measuring various, types of things, traffic, most popular websites, other things. So we put together a little list of a compilation of measurements others are doing, and I'm working on a follow-up of that because in the meantime, other people have contacted me and asked me if I would want to include their work as well. So if you're doing something related to V6 measurements that you would like to have included there, please let me know. And recently we also looked into the growth of our membership over time, which is maybe not only interesting for the RIPE RIPE NCC membership or in the right region, but kind of gives an indication of the the development of the industry over time. And then in a follow-up article, we also looked at the allocations we've been doing to the membership during all those years, and you can see which regions have the most mass numbers, and we're looking a bit more into that and maybe some speculation of why some of the results are the way they are, instead of just putting out the data. And there are also a number of DNS-related tools and news on the site. We published our plan on the signing K route, and related to that, there's a reply size tester tool that people can use to check if their resolver is behaving properly. And again, based on that, we've done some internal measurements to and we published the results of that also on the site. So yeah, browse around and see what's maybe of use or interest for your particular work. That's just a screenshot at the moment. We're actually working on a new layout, a bit of an easier structure for people to leave comments and participate on the site. At the moment, it's more or less just a list of articles, and you can discuss things in forums, and there are links to forums under each article, but in a couple of weeks we hopefully have a new layout, a new site ready where it makes it a bit more lively and easier to leave comments. So yeah, that's all I wanted to show you here this morning. If you have any comments, please let me know. Send mail to me or to labs@ripe.net. And yeah, we really would like your contributions and your participation in that, and to hear what you think about the work that's on there, or if you have anything to contribute yourself, please do so.
Any questions for Mirjam so far? John, why don't you start making your way up? And okay. I don't see anybody coming to the mic, so
thank you.
No questions, but I'm sure you'll be around if somebody has one. So.
I always wonder how Wright does such good work all the time. Okay, I'm John Quarterman. I'm actually not directly affiliated with the University of Texas at Austin except for this project. And this is an NSF grant-funded research project. The PI is Professor Andy Winston. Some of you may know him. This is just a snapshot of one thing we've been doing in the project, which is, as many of you know, an organization called FireEye took down a botnet called Ozdok. And we happen to be looking at a lot of spam block lists, so we looked to see, can we see that in the block list data? The takedown was 5th and 6th November of 2009, and a lot of ISPs and DNSs, registrars cooperated with FireEye. And we're always in favor of botnet takedowns. Okay, here's some of our data, or some of the block list data. The x-axis is obviously time, 10th of October, 19th of October through 19th of November. The y-axis is numbers of hosts listed on a given block list, and this happens to be for the specific autonomous system number 19262. The top, do I just have a cursor here? I guess not. Well, anyway, the top line is CBL and XBL, which track so closely together you can hardly tell them apart. And at the target date, which is where you see the little box there, you can see there is a drop. It's slight, but it's noticeable. So that might be it. Right. And we have another way of looking at it. Notice there's now a y-axis on the right side. That's volume as a number of spam messages. And an additional curve, which is spam volume. We get this from CBL. They send us some custom data, and we really appreciate that. And on the spam volume, well, it's not really clear. I mean, there is a brief spike down at that date, but it's hard to tell it from noise, so that's a little inconclusive. Here's another one, ASN 6167. Once again, on the CBL and XBL data, it looks like there's some decrease, but spam volume, not really. And even on the CBL and XBL host data, it goes down for a little while and then it goes back up. Okay, so those two we basically picked by just looking for ASNs that had many CBL listings. We're favoring CBL here just because we had the volume data from them. But then we looked for autonomous systems that actually had a downtrend on the time period of interest. And there's lots of ASNs that don't have many listings, so a lot of educational ASNs that happen to go down right then. But the numbers are so low and it varies so much, it wasn't very interesting. The top one was that same ASN 19262 we already looked at, but here's another one, 7015, and once again, there's that downtrend at that time on CBL and XBL. Now, on the volume, well, yeah, maybe there was a spike down at the time, but if so, it didn't last. I mean, you have to wonder if doing away with one botnet didn't let an even spammier one get in. Here's another ASN 7018. Steeper downturn on CBL and XBL, same phenomenon on the volume. So, okay, let's try just looking at the autonomous systems with the highest volume numbers. The volume y-axis is on the left here just because that's the only one we're showing. And this is beginning to look like they all showed a spike down, all the top ones, at that time. And also there were spikes down on the 2nd of November and maybe on about the 27th or 28th of October, which makes us wonder, if you guys do another takedown around any of those dates? We're very interested in more takedowns so that we can examine the data and try to characterize what it really looks like. So if anybody hears of that, we're quite interested. And here's another view. We also have from CBL Botnet data. They're telling us what botnet they think infests each IP address for the volume data. And we see the spikes down, interestingly, in almost all the botnets, which is a little puzzling. Do botnets take vacations? It's like, we're not going to spam today. Do spammers have correlated, time periods their campaigns run out? Do what? Cleaning the pipes. That might be it. Yeah. Right. Well, and the botnet that FireEye took down, see way down in the bottom where I've got it marked with the box, that little gold line, that's the one they took down. And yes, there is a decrease at the target time and it stays down. Okay, but most of the other decreases we've been seeing look like they may be because of the other botnets. Now, obviously, the next step is do botnets per autonomous system so we can investigate that directly. This is a work in progress. We're just showing you a snapshot of this particular piece of the project as we've got it right now. And our programmers, I didn't draw any of these charts. Our programmers, Sammy and Yoni, will be working on that. They're sitting here in the audience. There's one. There's the other one. If you're interested in what those other botnets were, it says here. Now, that particular botnet, MegaD, a decrease from 3.5 million messages to 8.6 thousand at the target time, a factor of 4, that seems substantial. And it did stay down for a couple of weeks. We've also compared this to, as you're probably aware, Marshall 86 tracks spam bot activity over time. They saw a similar decrease at the same time. Their order of botnets that they're showing is different because, they're using different spam traps. But what we're seeing does seem to track what other people are seeing. FireEye made a comment that they're trying to be modest here. that they think what they did is fairly straightforward, and they'd like to complement Shadow Server and other outfits that then take the data that they produce and try to do something about the affected host, which is a good thing. Right, so the basic point here is takedowns are great, and congratulations to FireEye and everybody else who was involved. If this is going to have much effect, though, we need a lot more takedowns and a lot more cleaning up of the affected nodes. You knew this, of course. We're just documenting this in detail, and we're going to dig in greater detail so that we can see more what's going on. One of the goals of this project is eventually to produce a reputation system where we'll be able to see for every autonomous system how well are they doing on a number of different metrics, and then to use that to incorporate into an econometric model which is supposed to show how this can provide economic incentives for everyone to do better at cleaning this stuff up. I don't do that part. We have professors for that. The boilerplate NSF acknowledgement here, and once again, particularly thanks to CBL for the volume data and the Botnet data to the RIIs for registration data, and especially Team Cymru. I mean, it's just really impressive what those guys do in merging all the RIR and routing data. Makes it a lot easier. None of them are, of course, responsible for anything in this presentation. That's it. Questions?
Questions for John? Questions for John? Anybody? No? Give you a couple minutes. Maybe you're shy to get up at the mic this early in the morning. You're shaking off the Equinix hangover.
Oh, wait, you already asked a question. Oh, but you have a presentation.
Okay, thanks, John. That's the lighter edition.
The light edition of Suzanne. And as usual, the mic at the Nano podium is a little too tall for me. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. I'm surprised how many people are out here and looking kind of awake. I didn't go out late last night, but I did go out late Monday, and I'm still getting my voice back, so please bear with me. I'm Suzanne Woolf from Internet Systems Consortium, and people mostly know us for bind and DHCP and a few other things we do, like a DNS root server. But I asked for this time this morning to talk about some technology in the v4, v6 coexistence area that we think is interesting and we're making available to the community. So we've all gotten the memo by now. Unallocated IPv4 is running out. We probably have a couple of years. Functionally, it's already gone for many large operators. People are coping today with the fact that the next time they want to go back for more addresses, there will not be previously unallocated IPv4 for them. The issue there, of course, is that applications are not v6 enabled and users aren't using v6. There's an app for that, but it speaks v4, and it's going to for some time to come. There's a very, very long tail here. Content providers are in kind of the same boat, and ISP and access providers are going to be in the position of having to bridge that gap. Because you need address space to grow networks, but you can't make your users change. So there's a need, again, not news, for IPv4, IPv6 coexistence technologies. There's been a variety of technologies being discussed. A lot of development work in the ITF, a lot of private activity. People think we'll just do more IPv4 NAT, deeper layers of NAT to NAT to NAT. Some people think that we'll come up with, son of NAT PT, or with enough thrust and enough gaming systems that use it, host-based dual stack lite will become successful. And we're here to talk about one particular technology, dual stack lite, which has been developed within the IETF. The URL there is the draft, which is in last call and should shortly be moving on to the next stage in its life as an RFC. The key idea behind dual stack lite is that it allows v4 applications to communicate with v4 servers and peers over v6 infrastructure. One address family transition router after can handle a lot of clients. The basic, I'm not going to go into technical detail, but the basic idea is you tunnel v4 over v6 infrastructure and then NAT to further v4 interactions. The basic idea as to how it behaves for users and providers, the networks, from the network side, as a network operator, which you see is both v4 and v6 in use. There's a v6 delegation for the customer site. There's a v4 delegation for the after, the tunnel concentrator. The customer sees business as usual. v6 OR applications can use IPv6. It's completely transparent. v4 only applications also just work. So what we've done, what IC has done is, with support from Comcast, for which we're very grateful, we've released an open source implementation of dual stack lite for people to try out. The distribution consists of the client side widget that basically allows an open WRT box with DHCP v6 and v6 enabled to set up the tunnel, and allows the other piece of the distribution is the server-side tunnel concentrator and NAT device, which is referred to as the after in the spec. ISC after is available at the URL you see, and we would like for folks to try it out. Dual stack lite is not the only technology anybody's going to need. There are various use cases. There are various ways people are running their networks. There are going to be various ways people are going to accommodate the issues around the need to have v4 and v6 coexist in networks for the foreseeable future. Dual stack lite is just one of the tools in the kit. But we do think that the use case for it, the initial use case for it was large access networks where there's a very large installed base of users and applications that only know v4. However, we do think the use case goes way beyond that. If you're growing a network, pretty soon you're only going to be able to grow a network with v6 public addresses. If you have an installed base of v4n nodes, v4 applications, activities that depend on v4, you're going to have to be looking at something like this. So we think you should be taking a look at this. It's open source, it's freely available, and we want to hear from you. We have set up the usual open source support mechanisms, which you can find on the website, the usual mailing lists. We're also setting up the after forum, which is based on the forums we do around our other software products. It's a way for users to work with us on development, on funding, on roadmaps for where the software should go, early access for testing, and benefits of that kind. ISC is always here at NANOG. We go to RIR meetings. We're at IETF. We're in the community, and we would like to hear from you, or just drop me or the product manager for after a note. And try it out. Let us know what you think. Let us know how it could be more useful in this brave new world we're walking into. And unless there are questions, thanks. And operators are standing by. Talk to us.
Thanks, Susan.